Hello, welcome to Friday Night Live number 40. We're up to 40, so welcome everyone. It's great. We've done a stack of these. It seems like we've done 440, but we're up to 40, and tonight we're going to talk about shipwrecks. I couldn't really find a shipwreck-like prize to give away tonight, so we're going to give away a beautiful, beautiful east wing pick, rock pick. That's a $110 American-made pick. Very, very good bit of gear. And I've got a couple of gold pans here, so we'll give away a couple of gold pans. These are east wing gold pans as well. Really, really good quality gear sort of thing. So they're just new into the shop, so we thought we'd give them away. Now, to win those, you just need to share this live stream. We'll get the in about an hour's time we'll get the randomizer going, and yeah, we'll draw out a random person who shared this post. So you've got to share this post. So right, so there's a stack of people here. There's lots and lots of Pats here: Ricky, Lynn, Tim, Denise, Vanessa, Barbara, Blake, Mick, John, Paul, Damo, Young Guns, great YouTube video. They've just started a YouTube account, so the kids are going really well on that. Baz is here. Baz is actually, I'll tell you a bit of a funny story. Baz has helped me track down a couple of quite old metal detectors. So we've got a couple of... so we're going to have a look at a few of them live on the show. I won't tell you what they are. It's a bit of a surprise. So Baz has been very, very helpful with that. Thank you for that, Baz. So for those that don't know, this is Monday Night Live. We do this every Monday night. I'm Ben from Gold Diggers. We've got a little shop here in Brisbane. Down right there is my mobile number. Of course, I won't answer it in the next hour or so, but if you've got any questions through the week, just pick up the phone and give me a call. And tonight we're going to talk about shipwrecks. And I suppose, first off, let's see what we've got here. Let's get rid of me to a degree here. This image is from Kyla, long-time viewer. She sent me this a long time ago. This is the coastline looking west from Warrnambool towards Killarney Beach. I think Killarney Beach is right down there anyway. But this is a prime area to search for the Mahogany ship, one of Australia's great mystery shipwrecks. So thank you, Kyla. I'll send you a little present from the prize vault tomorrow. So I'll contact you straight after the show and get your address. So I need to thank everyone as well. I was a bit under the weather the last couple of weeks, particularly last week. Thanks for everyone for your kind wishes, but some of the things I get halfway through saying something last week and think, what am I talking about? So thank you all for your concern. I'm feeling a bit better. Yes, I need to take it a bit easier. So yes, Treasure Hunters New South Wales is here, Henny's here, Justin here, Mick's here, Ray's here. Hello everyone. So shipwrecks. Now before we get into shipwrecks, I've got some great old books here. I've got some great photos that we pulled up. A couple of little announcements before we get going. There's two things happened in the XP world in the last couple of weeks. This is one of them. X35 coils. These are brand new coils for the XP, so 3 coils, 9-inch, 11-inch, and 13 by 11. Okay, that's nothing terribly spectacular. But, so here they are here, X35, I've got one here. I think this is the big one. So there it is there. So these are new coils. No Taylor tonight. I hear people asking about Taylor. No, he's abandoned me tonight. So anyway, here's X35 coils, just in stock. The beauty of these coils, they're selectable frequency. They're not multi-frequency. They're selectable frequency from 3.7 kilohertz, right, all the way to 27.7 kilohertz. So beautiful selectable coils, and they also have a boost mode on them, which if you put it in 3.7 or 4.4 kilohertz, you can then hit a boost mode and it'll punch much deeper. So phenomenal coils. These are going to be, I haven't actually worked the prices out as yet, but I think they're going to be about $300 or $400 a coil, $500 a coil. But just an amazing, and of course the battery, the battery's included. The battery's actually in the coil. So phenomenal bit of gear. And then this popped up last night. This is a new metal detector from XP, a brand spanking new metal detector. So this is like an XP machine without headphones is normally about $1,899, $2,000, around that sort of mark. The ORX is going to come in at about $1,200, I think, round that sort of mark, and it does two things. There's two settings on it. So there's two modes for gold prospecting, and there's two modes for coin and relic hunting. So just a cheaper version of the XP, because that's always been the hold-up. So these things I think are going to be phenomenal. We'll certainly, when we get these machines have only just been, I don't even think they've been released yet. They've just come out in the market. And I think these things, like 800 grams, so like they talk about, like I suppose the Equinox is probably about the lightest, but it's 1.2 kilos. These are like 700 or 800 grams. They're just super light, carbon fibre back shaft by the look of it, and I think these are going to be a killer. So, and just two coils, just the elliptical coil there, and I think that's a 9-inch round. So that's it. So it'll just be an old, purely a VLF Gold Hunter, or a purpose-built relic hunter. So won't do anything else, won't get tricky, probably no good on the beach, but yeah, I think they're going to be actually quite a good machine. But I like my XP, I've got an XP machine, that's what that coil, I've sort of absconded with that coil to give it a good crack. But yeah, so I think they're going to be a phenomenal machine, so they might be worthwhile having a look at. Yeah, so I'll give you more information when they're coming out. There is, yeah, so that's all the sort of news we've got. And while I'm doing all the bits and pieces, I believe that the nugget hunt is very, very close to being sold out. But I think Donnie, who's running it, has maybe got a few more numbers available. So if you do want to get involved, get onto the Queensland Nugget Hunt, the Queensland Gold Prospecting Facebook page. Get on that, because that'll be a great weekend. That's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So, yes. And we may as well rattle through these other ones. Ararat Gold Dig, we'll talk more about that later on. It's the 20th, 21st of October. And Lankuri Gold Bash is about 3 weeks away. So if you're heading to Victoria, Lankuri Gold Bash is something you probably want to get involved in. Yes, lots of Victorians here tonight. Welcome to the Victorians. We've had, in the last few weeks we've had a dramatic number of overseas visitors watching after the. They don't tend to watch it live, but afterwards they seem to re-watch the replays. Re-watch the replays. Does that make any sense? They watch the replays, it's been really good. Lots and lots of overseas people. So, yes. So there's lots and lots and lots of people here tonight. Fantastic to see you all here. Taylor had to duck off. He had something pre-arranged tonight, so he was at work today. So, yeah. I guess Jim Q's asking if they like a swim. The XP machines, because they're all wireless, you actually need to put, if this is what you're talking about, the XP machines, the coils are waterproof, but you need to actually, you actually need to put a waterproof kit on the coil, because they talk to each other with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi doesn't work through water, so it's a bit of an issue sort of thing with the water. So so they don't really work that well in water. So yes, right. So shipwreck time. Okay, so I've had a bit of a think about how we're going to do this, because there is that much information about shipwrecks, just like there's that much information about bushrangers, just like there's, these subjects are quite big. So what we're going to do is, tonight we're just going to call it a general shipwreck chat. We'll pull out a few little things, we'll tell a few stories, but we will get to specific, like, so for instance, here's an old book on the Pandora. Like, that's got a great story to it and how they found it, and lots of pictures and maps and all sorts of business. So we'll get into some specific stuff down the track, but we might just have a bit of a chat about general shipwrecks and pick a few out and go from there. Kylie's here, Emma, Michael, g'day Michael, how are you? Anton's here. These new XP machines will be fantastic for people to start with, yeah. Great starting machine. Yes, so great machine. Steve's sent me an interesting, I think he posted on the page. He's actually, he's youngster, I don't know, young boy, young girl, but anyway, youngster at 3 bought was out in the goldfields on the weekend, bought a pet yabby home. So Steve's got a yabby in his fish tank that's probably going to eat all these fish. But yes, so that's a fantastic interest for a young kid. So Rob's here as well, for having great fun with the ace. Yes, Cleggy's here. G'day, Cleggy. Cleggy's the guru when it comes to information on this new XP machine. So very, very exciting about that. So yes, okay. So let's get on with it. How many shipwrecks do you think there is around Australia? There's a bit of a quiz for tonight. We might give a gold pen away for someone who can. And this is a bit of a. There's no set figure here. I've just found a figure on. I've just found a figure online. So have a guess. Be interesting to see if anyone guesses the number. So just to give you an idea about the shipwrecks, there is 1,300 undiscovered in WA alone. So that might give you an idea of the numbers. So 1,300 undiscovered in WA. So, yes. But I suppose this is a bit of a silly competition because everyone will just Google it. So, but yeah, so we've got a couple of people there that have got it close already. So now let's pull up our first little shipwreck, and this is a shipwreck that is probably not thought of as a traditional shipwreck, but this here, so 104 years ago, this week, okay, so 14th of September 1914, this photo was taken. This is AE1. So the AE1 was the Australia's first ever submarine. So it was this day, it was this week, 14th of September 1914, that it sunk. It went missing. Up in the background there, you've got the warship Australia, and I think it's what's that other ship in the picture there? But it'll come to me anyway. So yeah, so 104 years ago. Now this was only found this year, this boat. So okay, let's just stop the guessing on the shipwrecks. That was a stupid competition. There's over 8,000, Google tells me, but yeah. So there's lots and lots of them. I'll find the first person who commented 8,000, and I'll send you a pan. So a gold pan. I'll contact you after the show. So whoever the first person was, I will contact you straight after the show. So this was the last picture taken of AE1. So and of course that's Australia over the background. So she was gone. I think that might be Yamba. So this year, and it was only found in March this year. Lots and lots of pictures, lots and lots of information about AE1. 34 Australians, I believe, died on it. So a fantastic bit of history, a very, very sad memorial, but a fantastic bit of history, and it happened this week 104 years ago. So just a quality bit of timing for our shipwreck video. It was not something that we sort of planned to have happen. That it was this week. So just found it was found up in Asia, just off the Indonesian coast. But if you want to have a read about it, so AE1 is probably one we'll spend maybe half a night on. Maybe we'll talk about, I don't know, AE1 and the Australia or whatever. So yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll really pick that out and pick a couple of warships. We might even include the midget, the Japanese midget sub in Sydney Harbour. So we might do three things, and get one of our war historians on, like someone like Warren or the likes of that. So. Okay, so just a bit of a catch-up. A few people asking what the prize is tonight. So we got East Wing pick, made in America, $109. You need to share this post, and in about 40 minutes' time, we'll run the randomizer, which will randomly select someone who has shared this post. So that's one prize. And we've got a couple of gold pans here, East Wing gold pans, a couple of different sizes. Phenomenal. So, and these pans, I really like these pans. These have got a coarse riffle down one side, and then a fine riffle down this side. So I'm just starting to get used to using them. So yeah, so it'll be interesting. Okay, so back onto shipwrecks. So we might just have a look. One of our, unbeknownst to me, our esteemed viewers, Trevor, has won a trophy. Now, I believe it was a few years ago, but Trevor, where's Trevor's trophy? I've got a picture of Trevor's trophy here, actually. Or have I? Oh, I don't think I put it up. So, Trevor found in Melbourne, he's got, off the coast of Melbourne, he found what's believed to be, what he believes is an old whaler. Before Melbourne was really settled. I'm just trying to find your trophy here, Trevor. I loaded it up, but of course I didn't put it on the screen. But Trevor's won a flash-looking trophy. Well, he hasn't really won it. He was awarded it. So, and I believe we need to also touch on, we will in a moment, on the legalities of it. Now, Trevor found this and handed all of the gear in to the authorities. Here it is here. I've got it here. And handed it all into the authorities, which is the right thing to do. So he was awarded this trophy for doing the right thing, handing it in. And being an old whaling ship, there's probably not a lot of value on it. I believe they even gave him back a couple of the old pins that were holding the ship together. So a fantastic thing. I didn't know we were in the. I didn't know Trevor was such an esteemed shipwreck hunter. So just an amazing bit of information. So we probably should just quickly touch on the shipwreck. So there's two lots of shipwreck lore, if you like. Well, there's probably three if you counted international law as well. But we'll just concentrate on Australian law. So the federal law, well, basically, you can't touch any of it, is the short version. You must report it within 7 days. But any shipwreck over 75 years old is federally protected under the Historic Shipwrecks Act. So anything older than 75 years, right, is protected. We're talking, some of these shipwrecks we're talking about, we'll touch on a bit later, like the Gilt Dragon was 1656. The Stradbroke Galleon it'll be around that sort of 1700s. So, like, a lot of these ships are very, very, very old. So, it is not finders keepers, unfortunately. And I don't believe that. They even award salvage rights as such. They just want them left on the ground. So that's what it is. So they're all protected, and this is the. So what happens is, actually, Bodell's just making a really good comment here. We should get Trevor on. So we should really, what happens though is that unscrupulous people, and I've heard of this happening numerous times, will find some gold coins and won't declare them and will melt them down for gold value. So there is a little bit of, I question whether we've protected too much, or we don't police that too much, or we don't police that enough, or it's too protected, so no one's game to hand them in or anything like that. But anyway, that's a debate for another day. So anyway, so that's what that's what the law states. Now, there is individual state laws as well. So each state, I'm not going to go through all the states, but yes, there is stacks and stacks of laws around old shipwrecks. So just bear that in mind. Yes, so, and most people, Steve, I'm just reading Steve's comment here. Steve makes a comment that they, most of the time people died in the shipwrecks. They should be left in peace. And you're dead right, they should be left in peace. Like you talk about some of these, you talk about these the Florida coast, the Treasure Coast over in the States. It is just filthy rich with gold. It is filthy rich with treasure ships, and people make billions of dollars, millions and millions and millions of dollars with off those ships. I'll tell you, just as a bit of an aside, talking about a shipwreck. As a young bloke, I worked on trawlers. Well, I worked on one trawler, and I worked. It was a 9-month season working in the North Queensland. So we were really based out of Portland Roads, in a steel trawler, 65 foot big trawler, not a real giant trawler, but anyway. So anyway, I just did 9 months. It was a long time away from home. Made some money, came home, went and did something else. But anyway. I heard that about 6 years ago, well, probably 7 or 8 years ago now, that trawler went down off Fraser Island, and killed the 3 people on board. So it's funny when you're that close to a boat. You knew that boat, like I lived on that boat for 9 months, and you never came to shore. How that, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that boat like that, So, anyway, so like that's the sort of shipwrecks that are scattered all the way around Australia, and I'd be surprised to be 8,000. I'd be surprised if there's not more than 8,000 shipwrecks around Australia. So we're talking about a lot of modern day shipwrecks. You're talking about shipwrecks like there will be nothing on these shipwrecks here, but just have a look at this for a spot to have a bit of a look around. Like that's off the coast here. So that's at Moreton Bay. That's the wrecks at Moreton Bay. Beautiful, beautiful spot. So, right. So let's talk about WA for a moment here. 1,300 shipwrecks without 1,300 shipwrecks undiscovered. So, what was actually going on there? So here's a little graphic that I actually stole. Don't tell anyone that I stole this, but here's a little graphic that you can see here, if I get out of the road. So during the trading period, like we're talking 15, 16, 17, even 18th century sort of thing, the boats had come around the Horn of Africa, right? And the old route used to be that blue route where they go up the coast and, and it was a much slower route. This red route is the Roaring Forties route, and this is where a lot of boats used to get in trouble. They used to come hurtling along here and lose track of where they are, and they'd end up in the coast of west coast of Australia. There is unknown amounts of wrecks along the west coast of Australia. There is a couple of, I don't think I loaded that graphic either, but there's a couple of big, like shipwrecks that have been discovered, like the Gilt Dragon, like, is it the Zoodorp? It's from the Netherlands. Phenomenal stories around what happened with some of these boats. But yeah, so that's what, so what they're doing is they're trying to take this shortcut. They're hurtling along at a great rate of knots in the middle of the night, and bang, shipwreck time. So this is just to give you a bit of an idea here. This is a little chart that I've actually bought. This chart, I'm going to put this up in the shop here, but this is shipwrecks of WA. So just to give you an idea of the number, you can see off that chart there all the way down the coast, and that's just simply these boats coming along that Roaring 40 route and banging straight into Australia. So so just an amazing bit of history, and that is exactly what happened to the Gilt Dragon, exactly what happened to the Zoodorp, and stacks and stacks of other ships. So just to give you an idea, the Gilt Dragon, came to grief about halfway up the Perth coast. In 1656 it left. So it had a crew of 193, 118 died. What was the most interesting thing is that they selected a crew. All they had was a dinghy, right? So they put 7 blokes in a dinghy, right, to sail sail up the coast 1,400 nautical miles all the way up to Batavia, which is in here, there, right? And they made it up there. Two boats came looking for the wreck because, of course, there's a lot of value on the Gilt Dragon, and 2 boats came looking, and they lost a few people as well. So it's a fascinating little story, and every one of these shipwrecks has got exactly the same. It's got a story about something with it. So right, so for those we'll just do a bit of a recap here. For those that don't know who I am, this is I'm Ben from Gold Diggers. This is Monday Night Live. We do this every Monday night. If you've got questions, there's my mobile number. Tonight's giveaway is a East Wing pick valued at $109 and a couple of gold pans, a couple of East Wing gold pans. So all you need to do is share this post while it's on. In about half an hour, 25 minutes, we will run the randomizer, and we will select someone who has shared this post to win the prizes. So we'll pick out 3 prizes tonight, and we'll go from there. Right, so David's here. Lisa's birthday day. Happy birthday, Lisa. Sky, Jen, Troy, Linda, everyone's here. Dean's here. Kyle's here too. Right, so that's the Gilt Dragon. The thing that's captured okay, let me put up a couple of pictures here. This here is a replica of what the Gilt Dragon would look like. This is what the ships sailing out here would look like. So we're talking about very, very old ships. Here's one that's is the wrong side of the water. This is the sort of thing that happens. These old timber boats, horsehair and tar holding them together with big giant pins. What's this fella here? And even when we got to the iron age, where they were making these ships out of iron, they're still driven by sail. They would still drive them onto the coast in the middle of the night, not quite knowing where things are. So what's changed? Like in the last few years, last 100 years, what's changed is the equipment that you've got. So you don't see anywhere near as many shipwrecks now as what you did previously. Simply because the navigation here, you got GPSs, you got depth sounders, you're not relying on some bloke throwing a rope over with a bit of lead on it and counting the knots in the rope. So yeah, fantastic information. And so there's a lot less of these things happening now. So that's a bit of a shipwreck. Now again, information. There's books everywhere about all these shipwrecks. There is like treasure, shipwrecks. Like there is stacks and stacks of information about shipwrecks in old books. A lot of the information in old books isn't so much on the internet. Like I've had a bit of a look through a couple of these books here, and the information on some of these shipwrecks that they talk about in here is much more thorough than what. I mean, this is a bit of a funny book, but some of the information here is much more thorough than what's on the internet. So, yes, so some of these old books are great, and there is a lot of information. There are two real hubs for research in the world, and one's in London and one's in really Portugal, Spain, and these are the records of companies like the East India Company, a lot of these big naval companies, which Portugal was huge, England was huge, and they have a lot of these records still there. You can go and look at them. That's where, if you're seriously looking at some of these old shipwrecks, that's where you end up. You end up in these old libraries that you need to put white gloves on to touch anything. So that's all well and good. However, our old friend Trove has lists that I found today, a lot of lists of shipwrecks in, so there's a list here of shipwrecks in Queensland, and there's 143 items that people have actually gone through and put down where it is, what it's doing, whether they've found it, whether they've seen it. So fantastic resource. There's a lot more information on Trove. If you were to type in shipwreck on Trove and search for newspaper articles, you would be absolutely flabbergasted how much information's there. So, lots of people here. Donnie's just arrived. Who else has arrived? Andrew's here. Andrew makes a good point. Cooper's Treasure is a fantastic show on Discovery, I think it is, and they're looking for Francis Drake's boat, and phenomenal. I've been watching it myself, and these areas, the area that they're in, which is a island in the middle of the Caribbean, is very, very similar to what happens in WA. Is that this one spot, they've all come throttling in there, bang, up on the reef, boom, gone. And it's the same thing has happened there. They've got shipwreck laying on top of shipwreck, laying on top of shipwreck. So it's very, very dramatic. It's very, very dramatic. So, right. How much is it, Josh asked a question, how much is it to set up to do shipwreck searching, diving stuff, detecting things? Well, Josh, it's a great question. I've done a lot of diving myself, and it depends how far you want to go. So if you want to get a waterproof detector, sea hunting machines, there's stacks of others too, but so you need that. They're $1,000, $2,000 machine. So then you need somewhere to get out there. You need at least a kayak, probably a small boat. You could probably do that. And a crap load of research, like stacks and stacks and stacks of research. Then you talk about like this Cooper's Treasure, right? Where they've got motherships and like it's costing them, well, it's probably a bit of a beat up, but it's costing them tens of thousands of dollars a day just to do that. So there is the costs can be astronomical. For me, I've got a Sea Hunter. I haven't done a stack of diving with it. I'm just getting back into it. And I'm going to take you guys along on that little bit of a journey. We'll be doing some videos, and I'll try to not involve any sharks in the videos. I'm not too keen on. Yeah, how long's a bit of string is the question, sort of thing. So now they talk about so you're talking about social ship found in South Korea worth $130 billion, right? Like, quite possibly. There's a lot of wars around. It was a warship, someone mentioned. There is the San Jose, which is in Colombia, that's supposed to have more than $1 billion worth of gold and silver on it. Like, what an incredible amount of, like, it'd weigh a bit, I'd reckon, $1 billion worth of gold and silver. So, so these big companies, the people that found the Titanic, these Odyssey Marine companies that found the Titanic, and, they have got, 200-foot ships and all the money in the world, and backers, and who like to look for shipwrecks because it's romantic and they don't know what else to do with their money. So, there's stacks and stacks of people with a lot of money who don't know what to do with it, so they blow it on shipwrecks. So, right. So, a lot of people are talking about maritime museums. There's a stack of maritime museums around. The Madagascar. Now, the Madagascar, Trevor talks about here. I haven't got time to read that whole. Sky's talking about planes here. Sky, I didn't log into planes, so I can't help you. So let's talk about the Madagascar. The Madagascar is a bit of a mystery ship. I haven't got time to read all, Trevor, and I will defer to you, Trevor, as our resident shipwreck expert if I say something here that's wrong. But it had from what I remember, it had a lot of gold on it. And 3 tons of gold, Trevor writes here. I'm sort of skip reading this here. So now the Madagascar is missing. Left the docks of Melbourne and was on its way to London. So I believe, so we've got the Madagascar. Now, I further than that, because it left during the gold rush to go to London, and they could not get enough blokes on there. And the blokes they had on there were inexperienced. So with a decent blow, I don't think they got terribly far. So that's one story, okay, of thousands of stories. Then I've got another story. I've got a mast seen in the swamp on Stradbroke Island, which I spoke to Stradbroke Galleon, and I sort of spent a little bit of time with him, and actually my metallic, I've done some metallic readings of Stradbroke Island, actually marries up with where he suggests it is. So there's just 2 stories of unidentified, well, one unidentified wreck, right, and one identified wreck that has no one's found. Could the Madagascar be sitting on Stradbroke Island? Who knows? And it's something that I probably need to I need to spend some time looking at that. So this is so they talk about these Spanish treasure ships like this, and they look like this. From memory, and Trevor might correct me if I'm wrong, but from memory, the Madagascar looked more like that, less of a early 1600s, big poop deck on it, and more like a more that sort of shape of boat. So, and that makes sense that's what's on something like that, or a whaler is on Stradbroke Island rather than the big flash. This is that's I would not think that is what's on. Like, that's a typical galleon shape. I would suspect that is not what's on Stradbroke Island. I would suspect that is what, more traditional shape, much more later model, and probably more likely a whaler than a galleon or a treasure ship or the Madagascar. But, one can only live in hope that the Madagascar ended up on Stradbroke Island, and I'm about to find it, even though I can't keep anything of it. So, just to be clear there. So, yes. So anyway, that's all well and good. So, we've got about 10 minutes left for our draw for tonight's prizes. So, for those that have joined us late, Ben from Gold Diggers, this is Monday Night Live. There's my phone number right there if you've got any questions after the show or next week. Today's prize is a E-swing pick made in the States, just a good size too, $109 value. Couple of E-swing picks here as well. We're going to do 3 draws and send them out, as well as find the first person that said 8,000 shipwrecks. So all you need to do is share this post. You've got about 10 minutes left before we draw it, so share away. So and we'll draw it out shortly. So let's just go back and I'll just put up here the nugget hunt. Let's remind everyone of the nugget hunt, because this is going to be a great weekend. The thing I'm looking forward to the most is the sitting around the campfire afterwards. There's Cleggy, Justin Cleghorn from the XP Deus Guru and Australian Detectress. We got Dustin from Gold Rat, he and myself, and we're going to be sitting around a fire talking rubbish and having a couple of beers. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most. So I'm really looking forward to that. So happy days. Yes, so that is a great weekend. So if you can get involved with that, it's $100, all catered. That's just at the back of Gladstone. If you can get along, make sure you do, because it'll be a phenomenal weekend. And I have basically said to everyone, I'm not really going to be detecting too much. I'm just going to be wandering around, chatting to people, helping out where I can, taking it easy, and just being available. We're going to do Monday Night Live. We're going to do that from there, as long as we've got the internet speed, which I believe we do. So happy days. So if you can get along with that, because it'll be quality. Right. So what else have we got? Okay. Okay. Now, Anton makes a good point here about the mahogany ship. We are going to do a whole night on the mahogany ship. just as we're going to do a whole night on the Shipwreck galleon. Two little mysteries that I love. So we are going to do, and Anton might have missed the intro, because this photo of our background tonight is a picture sent in by Kyla. Let me just, and that's from looking west from Warrnambool towards Killarney Beach. So that's the sort of country, and you can imagine a ship blowing onto the shore there. So yeah, lots and lots of interesting. And I tell you what, there's some area to search there. When you look at that coastline all the way around there, geez, I tell you what, there's a lifetime's worth of detecting in there. You want to, I reckon you probably want to fly a chopper over that and look at some, and an aerial magnetometer. So yeah, that's what I'd reckon you'd want there. Narrow the search down a little bit. So yes, righto. And like, there is thousands and thousands of these shipwrecks. Like, there is a lot of these shipwrecks. So yeah. Right, I will start the randomizer here. Let me just start it up here. And we will get it's frozen here at the moment. So, but anyway, we'll cope with that. So make sure you've only got a couple of minutes left for shares. Bodell, send me a message if you could, please. I want to talk to you about something. So, right, so we got, so that's basically everything covered there. We might run this randomizer here. So we're looking for 3 winners. Yes, we're looking for 3 winners, so we'll get this randomizer going. Where are we here? Sorry guys, it's just a bit frozen, so I just want to, I'll just fix this up here. Yes. Right. So, okay, that's all ready to go. Sorry about that, guys. And we'll do this draw. We'll just give it a couple more minutes. Anyone got any more questions on shipwrecks? Yeah, Lisa did a very, very cool video she sent me through the week of her digging up a piece of wood. What could have been from the, well, it wasn't from the mahogany ship, but the video got me very excited that Lisa had found a bit of wood, but it wasn't the mahogany ship, it was the, I think it was more ply than mahogany, but it was a good video to watch anyway. So, so yeah, just a fantastic little video that Lisa sent me through the week. So, her and a mate digging in the sand, thinking they're onto a piece of the mahogany ship. So, and people might ask, why are we interested in shipwrecks? Why do we want to do this? Like, we can't. Why spend all this money going looking for shipwrecks? And I mean, I suppose it's very similar. Like, I spend a bit of money going looking for gold, and probably a lot of people spend a lot of money going out looking for gold. A lot of people are like me, but life's about adventure. So, what better adventure than going searching for treasure hunting, right? And looking for an old shipwreck, or going out looking for starlight stash, or going out and seeing if you find a gold nugget. Even if it's a little gold nugget, you can make into a piece of jewellery for your wife, or your significant other. So, like, it's all about the adventure, getting out and getting away from the TV, getting away from Facebook, except for Monday nights. And yes, joining the real world, getting out in the weather. So yes, right, okay. So it's what time is it? Right, we're about to draw the prize. We have 3 prizes. We might do the pan kits first. The pans, sorry, first. So got 2 pans. We might do the small one first. Then we'll get on to, so we need 3. Last chance, guys. Let me just refresh this here. We'll get it going here. Right. So, first winner is Scott. Scott, where is Scott from? Scott from Ipswich. Scott wins a small gold pan. So Scott, I'll contact you straight after the show. Let's run it here again. Barbara from Clunes in Victoria. You got the gold pan, and then the big prize is, I don't know where you're from, but it's a regular listener, Sky. Sky, who's always on the show. Sky, you've won the East Wing pick valued at $109. I will contact you straight after the show, and I'll get that out to you. And then, of course, I've got to talk to, where was that? So, now we've got some changes for the next couple of weeks, okay? Next week, next Monday, there is no show. We're not doing a show next Monday. Let me pull this up here. So, we've got a big list of what's going on. So, no show next week. Really, it's just because my wife's away for a few days, and I'm got the pleasure of looking after my young bloke on a Monday night. So that's the only reason there's no show next week. So then the week after is the nugget hunt. So I will let you all know, but I believe that we'll be able to do the Monday Night Live. We'll do it on the Saturday night from the nugget hunt. Okay, so that will be great. Then what we might do as well is we might actually, that fireside chat with everyone at the with Justin and Dustin, we might even try and live stream that. So we might just set a camera up and just let it roll for, it might be 2 hours. I don't know whether anyone will be interested in it, but, for those people that can't attend the nugget hunt, I think, it's a bit of the nugget hunt. And then if we've got good reception, I'll do some live crosses during the day, particularly if people are finding nuggets and that sort of thing. So we'll get a real lot of coverage as long as we can, as long as we don't irritate a lot of people on Facebook, and as long as we can stream it. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, and the show at the Nugget Hunt, I should say, because we'll be a couple of weeks. The show at the Nugget Hunt is I'm going to grab on Friday night and Saturday. I'm going to look for interesting people, right? Really, really interesting people. So I'm going to try and get Justin on the show. I'm going to try and get Dustin on the show. That's going to get confusing. I'm going to try, if a few people want to come on the show, so we'll have a real get to meet a few people and a few, that sort of thing. So it'll be an amazing event. So I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, guys, thank you very, very much. I will see you in just under 2 weeks' time at the nugget hunt, and we'll be live from the nugget hunt. If it doesn't work Saturday night, we'll have a normal show Monday night, and we'll have lots of video going around from the nugget hunt anyway, so you won't miss out. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great couple of weeks, and don't forget, if you got any questions, just give me a ring. So